So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the recording. I guess all of this has already been recording, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep going then. I want to thank everybody for being on the call or watching the call later. And we are going to go over today, for every failure, there is an alternative course of action. You just have to find it. When you come to a roadblock, take a detour. Take a detour. And that is a quote from Mary Kay. So let me say that again. For every failure, there's an alternative course of action. You just have to find it. When you come to a roadblock, take a detour. Now, I can tell you that Mary Kay would tell us over and over again that she had the bloodiest knees of us all, and how many times she fell down and got back up and fell down and got back up in starting this business. Because do you know that we actually started with wigs? So if you read the Mary Kay story, you know that it was Beauty by Mary Kay, and it was skincare and wigs, because wigs were all the rage in 1963, and so they thought that that would be a great addition to their Beauty by Mary Kay. So fortunately, they decided that storing and stocking a million sizes and shapes of wigs was just going to be way too much, so they ditched the wigs and went straight with just the skincare. They started in a storefront and then decided to take it into direct sales. They just did so many different things along the way. At one point, Mary Kay actually went private. No, I'm sorry, went public, where they had stockholders, and then her son, Richard, very strategically bought out all of them so that we would then be a privately held company as we are now. So when you guys get on, type in your name over in the group chat. So find on your screen where it says group chat and say hi so I know that you're on. I don't think I want to do this next week because I like seeing who's on, and I love those little hearts that went across and all of that. So this makes me kind of sad. I feel like I don't even know who I'm talking to. So, okay, so alternative course of action when you need it. I was talking with Diana Perry, one of our consultants in my unit, been with me for 20 years, and we were talking today about the UGG factor. The UGG factor is when your expectation is here and reality comes in here. And so depending upon how big the space is how big your UGG factor is. So if your expectation is, you put out a facial box and you're going to pick it up and you're hoping to get, 200 names or 50 or 10 names out of the facial box, and you get one, reality is here, but your expectation is here, then that creates a frustration or an UGG, U-G-H, UGG factor, that frustration factor. So what do you do? Because in Mary Kay, we always talk about, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you land in the stars. So how does that work in our business so we're not frustrated shooting for the moon and missing and landing in the stars? How it works is based on what are you expecting. Are you focusing on results, or are you focusing on action? So if you focus on your action, so your action of, I'm going to put out 10 face boxes. I'm going to talk to each one of the, owners of the place that I'm putting it, and I'm going to tell them if I get 30 names, I'm going to raffle off a $30 gift card, and I'm going to buy the gift card from them. Now we need to get 30 names into the drawing. So what am I doing that's going to create the expectation or the results that I want? So if you just are throwing out, I'm going to send out an email to my customers and I'm going to say, I'm doing a BOGO sale, buy one, get one half price. And I send it out and then nobody responds, I'm going to have a big frustration factor because I was expecting the results to be different, but really I didn't do enough to create a different. I was just kind of hoping for that different. And I think we do that a lot in Mary Kay. You know, because we're a Christian-based company too, I also find that we do a lot of, well, I'm going to pray on this and God's going to get me through. Well, God doesn't move parked cars. He wants you to be moving, and then he'll steer you in the right direction. And so you need to do the work, and he's not going to do for us what we can do for ourselves. I mean, think about it. He has all the worms in the world, in the world, literally all the worms in the world, but the robin, the birds have to go get the worms. He doesn't take the worms and drop them into the baby's mouth. It's the responsibility of the mama bird to do that. And how many baby birds end up dying because they don't get fed? And that's because the mom didn't go get the worm. The worms were there. And the same thing for us. God's not going to do for you what you can do for yourself. Now, he may bless your efforts and bless the work that you're doing, but you've got to be doing in order for him to bless it. And unfortunately, sometimes that can really become an issue. Let me fix my camera here. That can really become an issue when we take God as our partner, because we think, oh, as our partner, I love that Nicole told me years ago that she took God as her CEO. You know, the CEO doesn't do the work, the worker bees does the work. Like, God's the queen bee and we're all the worker bees, you know, kind of thing. And so when he's your partner, he's going to do the same amount of work as you do. And I don't think that's what the expectation is. I think it's that we're supposed to do it and he can bless our efforts. So that wasn't even in my notes. But for every failure, there is an alternative course of action. So when we have those moments of failure, we have those ugh factors, we have those moments where we are expecting this, and then the reality is this. What do? We either fight, we get mad, we either flee, we like quit, it's like forget this, or oftentimes we freeze. Like, I don't know what to do now, which usually ends up, you know, the only way to coast is to a stop. I've never seen, unless you know, even if you're on the top of Kilimanjaro, you're going to eventually get to the bottom, and then you're going to eventually coast to a stop. Or you're going to find another hill and go up, and you're not going to be able to make it up because you don't have the momentum. That's a whole nother story. Boy, that would be good training right there. But the only way to coast is to a stop. So even if you freeze, even if you've got some momentum, it's going to catch up to you. And I'm living proof of that. I had surgery June 29th. And I wasn't supposed to lift anything over 10 pounds. And of course, our starter kit is way more than 10 pounds. Plus traveling in July, and we had company, look at my calendar. In July, I really had, with my surgery, there was only about 4 or 5 days of working. And then we went to seminar. And then we got back from seminar, and Donnie was gone, Nicole's husband, which left Nicole here for 6 weeks, basically as a single mom, packing up their household, you know, to move to Florida. And I went into mommy mode and grandmommy mode. And now here we are. They're in their beautiful home. I got to help get them unpacked. Took the weekend in Nashville just to kind of have a little buffer before coming back to an empty house. I guess we could say empty. Still have a lot of stuff in here, but you know what I mean. Nicole, Donnie, and Crawford are gone, and I have been coasting in my business for almost 3 months now, and it's catching up with me, you know. And so now what do I need to do? Well, for every failure, there's an alternative course of action. You have to find it. When you come to a roadblock, take a detour. So I'm taking a detour, and so I'm getting back in the field. I'm calling customers, I'm calling referrals, I'm going to be calling people out of my phone book, you know, people I do know here in Indiana, and start booking up. And I'm going to have October, well, I still have this week, but October absolutely slam packed with appointments, because I know that if anything and everything that works, it all starts with bookings. And so that's what it takes, is just to get back on it. But even coasting can come to stop. So when you have this ugh factor, you fight, freeze, or flee is the common action. And so the bigger, you know, the difference between reality and what your expectation is. So how do you change that? You change it by changing your action. There are two ways to be successful in Mary Kay. One is through sales, and the other one is sales and team building. You know, it's not one or the other. Sales and team building. So sales and team building. What does it take to do both? Sales comes from faces and customer service, which is still seeing faces. So faces and customer service, like new faces and customer service. How does sales and team building come? It is from faces, customer service, and sharing the career information. So doing interviews and faces and sales. Ifs, I-F-S. I wish I could do like, you know, an overlay with I-F-S. That is all it takes to be successful in this business and to get momentum going. Now, sometimes it's nice to have a new idea. Sometimes it's nice to have a fresh new product. Like, I don't know if you can see behind me. I really can't show this to you until Saturday, but let me just show you what we get as directors in the mail. And it's this and this. And look at this cute, adorable box. I don't know if that's such a good line. We get this little party box of goodies with all of this stuff, and then this. And then I can show you this because you guys can't get these. So as directors, we get these little party, oh, whoa, hello. Get these little party boxes. Hey guys, type your name in the group chat so I know who's on. These little trays, which are so cool. Let me unwrap it. So they're like these little platters. How cute! And they go on these little stands. And they're cute and they're silvery. So you could do this side, or you could flip it over and have a party side on this side. And then you put products on top of it. And so we get these fun little party packs from Mary Kay. So I don't even know why I showed you this, but I think we were talking about interviews, faces, and sales. Okay, I'm gonna pull that apart. We'll get back to that. Okay, so interviews, faces, and sales. You need to be about business sometimes. I know you guys have heard me say this over and over and over again about do your job. Do your job. Just do your job. Interviews and faces and customer service is what equals the sales plus doing your faces. But let's talk about being a businesswoman and looking at your business objectively. So when you're looking for a detour, when you hit a roadblock, you've got to put on, first of all, your CEO hat. Now, as a chief executive officer of your business, because you know, in Mary Kay, you're an independent contractor. You can do what you want, when you want, how you want to with your business. So as an independent contractor, you are the CEO of your Mary Kay business. You are, what is it, DBA? Julie Potts, doing business as Mary Kay, independent beauty consultant. We're DBAs, okay? So as the CEO, what is your job? Your job is to set a goal. So I sat down today, got back in, you know, from my weekend away and helping Nicole. So I actually sat down for 10 days and I sat down and I was like, okay, what's the minimum of what I need to achieve to finish this month? So I have a production minimum. I also have a 5 reds minimum. I also have 13 new unit members, which we have in 1 for the month. So we need 12 more recruits in these next 5 days. Now today's almost over. So the next 4 days, I'm wanting 12 more recruits. So these are like my minimums. Okay. So you need to, as the CEO, you have to decide what is it that you want. So what is it that you want to finish September? What is it that you want to start October 1st? Do you know that we have had directors in our area that have recruited 10 people in 3 days? Yeah. Started the month off with, you know, I don't really want to do much with Mary Kay. Got about halfway through, got excited and said, you know what, I want to start DIQ. Started interviewing her customers, and in 3 days recruited 10 people. Started DIQ and went on target for a car, and won a car later in the next couple of months. So don't think that the fat lady has sung. It's not over until it's over. But it starts with making the decision of what do you want. Okay, so looking for that detour sign is, what do you want? What is your, and I like to do two things. I like to know what's my superlative goal, and then what's my non-negotiable. I have to reach this. So I've got, this is what I have to reach, and this is what I want to reach. Okay, so when you have this gap, I know this is my minimum and this is my maximum. I don't get frustrated because I'm going to hit the minimum. I'm going to find a way, make a way, because then I'm going to take that piece of paper, you know, that I scratched out what I want and what do I need to finish the month, and then I'm going to go to my CEO hat, Chief Operating Officer, and I'm going to figure out, how am I going to do this? How is this going to happen? Who do I need to talk to? What systems do I need to have in place? What promotions do I need to have in place? What conversations do I need to have with who, you know, in order to make this happen? Okay, so I've already started to make that list of who do I need to talk to, because I could just sit here and go, oh, I hope the month goes well. The month, okay. Hope everybody else does it, but I'm gonna clean my office because after being gone 10 days, the pile of mail and all that is, you know, kind of out of hand. Okay, so then you've got to look at, I mean, what that is. Then you got to look at the CEO. Is that, what are you going to do? Okay, so let's just say for you guys, you want to be DIQ October 1st. All right, you got one recruit, and you want to, gosh, my nose itches. One recruit, and you want to start DIQ. You got 4 days. Okay, so guess what this means? This means that you're, you know, the company average is 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4 are going to recruit. So if you do the company average of 1 out of 4 and you need 9 recruits, that means you need to do at least 36 interviews. Does it mean you may have to do more? Yes. Does it mean that you may have to do less? It's possible. You could do less and reach it. But the averages, 1 out of 4 are going to say yes. So you know that what you, if you say, I want to start DIQ, then your expectation is not who are the 9 people and where are they coming from, but then it could be my expectation is based on my action, and my action is, in order to recruit 9 people, I need to do at least 36 interviews. Okay, well, who can I interview? Oh, now I'm not frustrated because now I've got a list. Okay, I'm going to interview Tiffany, and I'm going to interview Christy, and I'm going to interview, and you start making your list of the 36 people that you want to interview. Now, of course, if you can get some bookings in these next 4 days, that's going to give you fresh, new, much more motivated potential new team members than it is unless you've, you know, had a bunch of appointments this month and you could go back and talk to all those people. If you've got a bunch of appointments and you can go back and talk to those people, great. Hot, they still, you know, been near the product. But if you haven't and you're kind of starting from scratch, see if you can get a party booked for Wednesday and Thursday. How many guests can you get to, if you're local to me, how many guests can you get to Thursday night? Okay, so you're going to focus on your actions. When you get to midnight on Friday the 30th, and midnight comes and you only have 5 recruits, hey, minimum, you could be on target for your car or a team leader, let's say, but your superlative goal was 10, and if you don't hit the 10, but you hit here, you could go back and look and say, did I do my 36 interviews? And if you didn't, then you don't have a right to be frustrated, right? You don't have that right to be frustrated. You can be disappointed. You can go, gosh darn, next month I'm going to do all 36 of those interviews. Or now, because you have 5 people, now 5 times 4, you're only going to need to do 20 interviews. If you did 36 interviews and you didn't get the recruits, because you guys have heard my story, I did 30 recruits before I got, interviews before I got my first recruit, but I did get them bam, bam, bam right after that. So then you may go, okay, you guys have heard me talk about this. What are the three things that I need to look at, and why did I not get the results if I'm doing the averages? Okay, so the first thing that you look at is the numbers. Interviews did I do? Did I do the numbers? And if you did 36 interviews and say you got 0 recruits, then you may need to go to number 2, which are my skills. What was I saying? What was I doing? You know, did I close them or did I tease them? So what I mean by that is like, oh, I could tell you all about Mary Kay and you can do this, this, and this. And oh my gosh, it's so awesome. It's so fabulous. And you don't say, so what do you think? Would you like to join my team? And if you don't say that, then all you did was tease them. Because you're kind of waiting for them to say, yeah, I want to do it. Gone and had a job interview where you had to say, yeah, I want the job, hire me. No. So when you're doing interviews, you have to say to them, I would love to have you on my team. Would you like to be on my team? Because they're waiting for you to say that. If you don't, and you're waiting for them to just, you know, magically say, yes, I want to do it, you're going to have some of those, but the reality is they're waiting for you to say you want them on your team. Just like every other interview, every other job, you don't get to just walk up to them and say, hey, I want to do this job, hire me. Even though we're not hiring them, but for a lot of people, it's that same, you know, thought process. So did you do the numbers? What were your skills? Did you really follow the Mary Kay skills, or were you trying to create your own? Were you not doing what you really need to do? And then the third thing that I always check is my attitude. What was I expecting? Was I going into those interviews going, well, I hope that she would, but you know, I know she doesn't want to. Like, you know, good things don't happen to me, or why would she want to be on my team, or, you know, anything like that. Any kind of holdback is going to hold them back too, because your conversation is going to be different. The things that you're going to say, it's going to come out differently. Okay. So how to, when you reach failure, find an alternative course of action. Okay. Focus on, I don't have that here. Focus on not on results. Focus on action, not your results. Focus on your action, and the results will come. Okay, so you're the COO, and you're going to put forth you're the Chief Operating Officer. The CEO says, I want to. The CEO says, well, what is it going to take to get there? What do I need to do? Okay, then you may need to go talk to the CFO, because one of the things that you need to be is a star consultant. Plus you're 10 active. So you may have to go put to your CFO hat on, Chief Financial Officer, and say, okay, well, I only have in $1,000 in production for this quarter because it just started September 16th, just a few days ago. And so I need to have $8,000 more in sales over these next 4 days. Okay, so the Chief Financial Officer is going to kind of need to sit down and figure out how you're going to do that. So if you weren't a star last quarter, so if you were a star last quarter, you're good to start DIQ October, November, and December. If you weren't, you need to have in a minimum of 1,800 wholesale by either October 1st or November 1st or December 1st to start DIQ if you want to go to New Orleans. Okay, so now you need to go talk to the Chief Financial Officer. How are you going to make that happen? Do you need to invest in your business? Do you need to get a loan to do that? Do you need, how many appointments do you have in the next 4 days? You know, if you had to do 800, that's only 2 $400 parties. You know, only $200 parties. So the CFO is going to go back to the CEO and say, okay, so this is what we need. How are you going to do that? All right. So you've got to be a chief financial officer. And then the last hat that I always say that you have to wear in this Mary Kay business, and I'm sure there's more. Yeah, there's more. There's, you know, managing your money would be the CFO. Managing your time is the COO. But managing your household is Superwoman. Is making sure, okay, so these next 4 days, I'm putting food in the crock pot first thing in the morning. I got to make sure I've got my babysitters lined up or my dog sitters, you know, lined up. And what do I need to do and how am I going to get this done? And what's my time frame, you know, kind of thing. And so you also have to be a wife to yourself to make sure that you've got everything going on in the house and everything's working out there too. But the other one is the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. And so as a Chief Marketing Officer, that's the one who's going to get out there and make sure that you've got your bookings, make sure that you've got your interviews. COO knows what you need to do and is going to manage your time or when you're going to do it. But your marketing officer is the one who's actually going to get out there and do it. So as a marketing officer, what do? You know, let's say you hit the wall and you don't have any names. You know, as a marketing officer, you've got to think, if I owned a coffee shop and nobody, here's my coffee. It's decaf, don't worry. If I owned a coffee shop and people weren't coming into my store, would I just close the door? Would I just sit behind the counter and wait? Nope. I would think like a businesswoman. I would say, okay, what do I need to do? I'm either going to put out one of those little, you know, little tent thing that says, you know, free muffins with your cup of coffee, or, you know, some kind of advertising like that. Or I may get somebody, you know, dressed in a big coffee bean to go stand on the street and twirl a little sign that says, you know, best coffee in town. You know, standing out there on the street doing something like that. But I'm going to do something because I'm not going to let my business go under. You're the chief marketing officer of your business. If you don't want your business to go under, find a way, make a way, which you talked about, because there are so many different ways to make this business a success. And it's just a matter of trying some of the ideas. Like, book a party, get referrals, get bookings from that booking, and then watch your business continue to grow. Nicole gave me a pile. I don't know where they're at. It's like this pile, thick, of referrals. Assistance folder. It's like this thick of referrals that she had pages. I bet 20 pages of referrals times 20 names on most of them. So what's that? Over 400 names. Do you know when she moved to town, I gave her 10 names out of her facial box. And everything that she built, you know, winning a second car while she was here, now at 400 referrals, all came from those 10 names. And I think she actually booked 2 of them. So getting those bookings from bookings. But it's being the chief marketing officer of your business. How can you get leads quickly, even if it means stepping out of your comfort zone? So Nicole's moved to Florida now, and she's got to step out of her comfort zone. She's going to need to get 1 or 2 appointments booked. Now, luckily, she does have a couple of customers there because her mother-in-law, who lives in St. Augustine, had a party for her. I bet it was 3 years ago when she first started. Her then, you know, soon-to-be mother-in-law, or maybe it was 4 years ago. Anyway, had a party for her, and now she's got, you know, a little pocket of customers that are down in St. Augustine. So she's planning on, as soon as she gets her office together, October 1st was her goal. Well, it'd be the 3rd because that's the Monday. She's going to start booking from who she knows, start getting referrals, and everything's going to go from there. You know, actually, she messaged me earlier, and she bought a table and chairs for her kitchen, and she said that she was going to be booking the girls she bought the table and chairs from. You know, so it's just while you're meeting people, it's, you know, it's putting it out there. So it's just getting that ball going again and just getting into that pocket of, you get one and you work it full circle. You get bookings from that appointment and you get referrals from that appointment. You get new recruits from that appointment, and you just keep growing and growing and growing. Okay, so being about business. We talked about the UG factor, right? That you can only count on your activity, your actions. Faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. Okay? And it all comes from ifs. If you just don't know what to do, fall back on who can you interview and who can you book for a facial, because it can all start from there. And I actually finished early today. How about that? That was all my notes. So for every failure, there is an alternative action. Oh, I want to tell you one more thing. Course of action. You just have to find it. When you come to a roadblock, take a detour. Find a way, make a way. So I had read this book, and it used to be here. I feel like I've done this before. And it's called Quantum Leap by Vincent Peale, I think it is. Oh, where is it? I know I used to have it close by because I referenced it a lot. All right, so I don't. Okay, so Vincent Peale wrote this book called Quantum Leap. And a quantum leap, he described, is often doing the opposite of what you think. Sometimes it's the opposite of, sometimes it's not trying harder. Because sometimes if you're trying harder, you know, I talked about, you know, numbers, skills, and attitude. And so if you keep doing the wrong skill and keep doing more of it, doesn't mean that you're going to get the results. Okay? Sometimes you have to stop, drop, and roll. You kind of have to stop, drop back, take a look at what you're doing, call your director, call me, talk to somebody at your unit meetings who's having, you know, consistent $800, $900 weeks. You know, just shadow them. Shadow them for a couple of days, or not a couple of days, for a couple hours or a couple of appointments, and just say, you know, can I just be your assistant? I just want to watch you for a little bit. Because sometimes it can be something that's some of the easiest little tweaks. So one of the consultants in our area was having really low sales, and she's enthusiastic, and she's so much fun, and she's so bubbly, and you know, we saw the before and after pictures. Everybody looked so gorgeous, and I was like, why were her sales so low? Sorry, why were her sales so low? So finally, her director said, walk me through what you do. So she literally, from start to finish, walked her through her appointment. And when she got to the end, and she did compliment time, and everybody loved it, and everybody's looking great. And then she said, now this, I'm just gonna let you know, this is the part I hate. Here's my sales. Let me show you what you can get. And she always started it with, this is the part I hate. Now, if somebody said that to you, what are you going to think? This is the part you're going to hate as well, right? And so the reason why she had such low sales is because when I get to the end, that's the part I love. I love that problem solving list. Let me find the best deal that I can give you. Let's find a way, make a way. Let's put your packages together. When my customers are done, swear, I want them to say, perfect, that's exactly what I need, what I want. And you know, because you guys know I do like the little checkers, and I take the actual product, I put that there and put that out there, and I want them to say, perfect, that's exactly what I need. Okay, and she was starting with, oh, this is the part I hate. So would you want to buy from somebody who hated selling things to people? Like, then I'd feel like I'm being scammed or something like that, or that she feels like it's a scam, so why would you want to buy from? So it's something that's simple. It was something that simple. So it wasn't doing more. She needed to stop, drop, out, and figure out what skill needed to be tweaked in order for her to get the results that she wanted. Last I heard, she had a facial last week. Now, this was like a year ago or so, but last week she had like a $200 facial, a $300 facial, and she no longer says, this is the part I hate. It's now like, this is the part I love. Okay, so every failure, there's an alternative course of action. You just have to find it. When you come to a roadblock, take a detour. Find a way, make a way. And if you don't know, talk to somebody. Video yourself. Put a little recorder on the table. I did that once. Cindy said, you know, I wasn't getting the results I want. And she said, put a recorder on your table. And just say, hey, listen, I'm going to record this for my own training purposes. So I'm just going to, it was just, you know, at that point, it was like an old-fashioned recorder. And I said it, but now you can just put your phone and set it there on the table and record yourself. And you say, I just want to record this. First of all, you're going to be more in tune to what you're doing. But the other is that you're going to hear little things. So, you know, if that director hadn't walked that consultant through it, you know, or if she had forgotten to say that one part, we would have never known, but had she recorded it. So if you're not getting results that you want, sometimes you can just record. So a quantum leap is not always trying harder. Sometimes it's stepping back and doing something easier. And I'll leave you with this thought. You ever seen the Chinese handcuffs? Dang, I used to have one of those. I think I threw it away years ago. I mean, recently when we moved here. Anyway, Chinese handcuff is this little cylinder, like a little bamboo cylinder. And you put your finger in and you pull your finger out, the cylinder tightens and squeezes hold of your finger and you can't get your fingers out. And the more you pull, the tighter it gets and you can't get your finger out. Finger out of these Chinese handcuffs. But you actually have to be very patient and calm, and you push in and then twist and then very slowly pull out your finger out of the little cylinder. You have to go in and turn and get them out, to get them out. And so that's kind of, I always think about that when I'm doing something, not getting the results. I'm like, I gotta do more, I gotta do more. No, you don't have to do more. You just need to figure out how to do it right. So with that, end of session 7. We have one more of the Mary Kay Way. Have a beautiful night. Bye.